Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all so much for taking time to join us again today for another webinar. My name is Megan Santangelo, and today we are joined by our buddy Chris Clark, who is the VP of Sales at Dejavoo for his last quarterly training of the year. And we also have some of our in-house support team members on this call as well, Julian and Jacob. Thank you for your time, and they'll be on to assist with any questions you may have. So as always, we are going to keep the phone lines muted. So if you do have a question throughout, please be sure to use the chat and QA, and we'll make sure to address those for you. So Chris, if you are ready, I think we can dive right in.
I am ready. Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning on some sides of the country there. Thanks again for everyone joining our Q4 update from Dejavoo. For those of you that were at the Awesome Impact 2025 this year, there's a little bit of content here that I did want to repeat for those that were absentee. I added a few bits of data that I wanted to share with you guys today. So we're going to get started with some PowerPoint slides and then get into some demos of some of the newer features that we've got going on today. Just a quick update on the company and our state of things. Not really a state of the union from my side, but we're entering our 20th year as a company. We now have over 300 employees worldwide. We're really stepping up our game with our integration support capabilities. We've employed AI now to help integrators blend into our APIs. Our RKL has stepped up our P2P. We are now P2P certified on our gateway, which you may or may not have known. We'll dive into that just a little bit more so that you know what the benefit of that is. So just want to get into real quick some of the hardware. I'm not going to go really one by one through the models today. For those of you that are, Dejavoo vets and, even the novices, you probably know about the models that we offer. The Z line, as you know, long-term standing veteran family, Cygma certified. We're getting into the QD series and the P series more and more as time goes on, and it's taking more share of our sales. So I'm going to really kind of just actually highlight in the QD family which ones you may not know that you can offer. You already know that you can do the QD4 as part of your free terminal program, your QD2 as the wireless unit. So we're going to get into some of the others more specifically to save some time. Guys, I have to excuse my voice. I picked up a cold over the evening. We're adding in some new alternative payment styles for PayPals and BNPL programs, buy now, pay laters, and cryptos. Got a lot of third-party VARs in that family these days. So I'm going to dive into that a little bit as well. And I think I really wanted to harp on this. I know that there's been a lot of webinars. I heard you guys had one of your own the other day. And does Dejavoo support the CEDP changes? And the answer is yes. So just a quick summary. We offer it at different levels. We have basically what we call the CEDP Basic. This is a reporting of a one, and so let me take a step back. This is only within our iPOS based platform, our gateway-based terminals, okay? So the basic one reports a one line item and one commodity code per transaction. It's ideal for simple merchants who sell a single service or product category. They work seamlessly within the standalone P series of terminals. It's easy to enable within our parameter settings. We have YouTube video on this as well. So, you can ask EPI to turn it on, or for those of you that are on the call that have your own direct relationship with us and have your own direct access to iPOS Pays, we'll show you how to do this. The comprehensive one is for merchants that sell multiple products or services. They offer, options like in Register Lite, where we can have items added and they can add those items into the transaction. Or for those, again, that have a direct relationship, then they can dive into using our Deja Pay Pro POS. These systems, we're going to report every line item and provide the accurate and correct syntax and correct data that level 3 is to the processor that they're now looking and scanning for to make sure it's not junk and it's not in the wrong formats and whatnot. So this is a little bit more for sophisticated merchants, and it's high quality item level data that is going to meet the new standards of the CEDP AI tools. Then you have ones that are going to be integrations. Okay, so these are using our APIs like Spin for card present and hosted payment page and things like that. We now fully support the level data 3 reporting through our APIs. So this could be Spin integration, which is where it's card present integrations. It could be through using our tokens to go back to our gateway and perform new types of transactions. E-commerce, as I said, like hosted payment page or freedom to design, and even third-party apps that are going to do deep linking. Deep linking is when an app goes into our app store. Let's say it's a third-party POS, table turn, for example, perhaps. Um, and they do, instead of through the cloud-based integration, they do two apps talking to each other. Their app talks to my payment app. And so there's different API for that. And with that, we now support the L3 CEDP satisfiable information. So this is just a little summary chart just to break down the previous slide. I don't want to get into it too deeply, but I did want to throw it out there. We are ready. Nobody's perfect, and there's not a real big help from the outside on this. So we do look for help from the inside. We just had an example of that from EPI specifically. They showed us a sample data where we were off a little bit, and we were able to correct it pretty quickly. So we're always looking for that input to keep this thing going sharply. Um, Going to talk a little bit about some additional features today, like what brings the merchant to stay with you, what brings more consumers to them and keep bringing them back. Digital ads is a new feature that we've added. We've added some embedded loyalty solutions. Enroll and Pay is a big one. They were at your show. Jesse Memel and Brian Booth were there. And this is a sexy integration built into our transaction flow that you guys hopefully are going to get, onboarded into your offerings here pretty soon. Customer surveys, bringing up QR codes to drive online revenues. I'm going to show that on a transaction sample today here as well. I'm going to introduce, or at least it's been there for a while, but I'm going to show you guys an engine we have called Safe. So we've been very vigilant on stopping bad actors, preventing fraud within the system. It's been very solid and pretty quiet, right, within the last year or so. And that's because we not only have cybersecurity companies on board that are helping us watch our systems and improve it, but also humans around the clock looking for anomalies in the system. And now we have this automation tool that lets you get even more micromanageable with the rules and controls that stop bad things from happening. So I'm going to give you a little show on that. We've added 3D Secure to our e-commerce transactions, which gives you interchange benefits, fraud prevention, chargeback prevention benefits. So that's now live within our platform. We did that through a product called Cardinal Commerce. Integrations. This is some of the stuff that we've just done over the little bit of time. We have another company that's now in our DV store called EVS, Electronic Verification Systems. I know I'm jumping down the bullets here a little bit, but EVS uses the camera of the phone to check validity, excuse me, of a identification, driver's license or whatnot. Think about entering a club or whatever where you have to do ID checking. So this is another app in the store, a third-party product that we can introduce you to that is a value add for living on Dejavoo. We did our QuickBooks integration. A lot of you probably already know that. We're in progress right now with Biller Genie, which I know is a partner of EPI. And we're hopefully going to get that before end of year. I know it's getting a little tight, so might be early first quarter, but we're pretty far down the line. We started with them a number of months ago. So if you did not know this, we are actually certifying the Cygma certification like we have on the Z Line 2 QDs. So we are very close on that. We're just finishing up a couple of Discover card test cases, as I understand that the other brands are good to go. And we have regular calls with EPI to get this to the finish line, and we're getting pretty close. So you'll be having your Android family Sigma to Sigma very soon. Much better battery life on the QDs, guys. If you haven't tried these yet, if you're looking for, staying with the world of a Z where it's no monthly fees, you don't want the gateway, you don't need back office, but you're looking for a better technology than 17-year-old Zs. So, you're moving up to super fast Android, bigger screens, um, much better battery life, very small increase in price, and no learning curve. It's the same interface that you know on a Z line, so there's no retraining a merchant or retraining yourself on what the interface of Dejavoo looks like with it if you transition over to this family. We've been able to add bilingual support to this terminal family as well. And if you prefer to use these instead of the P series on iPOS Pays, they are gateway compatible, but only on TSYS. So if you're going to use Fiserv Omaha, Fiserv North, or any other relationships you may have in the world with other platforms like Elevon, WorldPay, things that we're certified on, you got to go to the P series on those, okay? The Android families allow us to use a software we have called AnyDesk. which is a somewhat free software in the world that allows you to load on your computer or tablet or phone, something that allows you to basically do FaceTime with your merchant's terminal. It's great for you sitting at home when the merchant calls in and says, "Hey, I need help. Can you get over here?" No, no, let me just open this up. I'll see what you're doing. And the help desks love it. It drops call handling time. It eliminates the pulling of teeth with what's your screen say, press this, what's your screen say now, and so on. And I like to use it on my demos so I don't have to open up my camera and shove a little terminal up in the camera screen, which is real hard to see. So again, I wanted to focus on a couple of the QD series that you may not use a lot or sell a lot and didn't maybe even know about. So we have a QD1. This is basically like a QD2, so it's like a 4G Wi-Fi terminal with a printer, but it's like putting an OtterBox on it. So it's a lot more rugged, protected from um, light droppage. You're not going to be able to throw it out a window, but maybe dropping it from the hip height or whatever. It's not going to bust. It's not going to go into tamper. So, excuse me, this one also has buttons for people that like their buttons. It is about $100 more than a QD2, so that's kind of why maybe it's not the biggest seller. But if you go to a QD2 and that's what you prefer, mainly maybe because cost, we do sell a very inexpensive rubber silicone skin protector that you can wrap it in. It's around 20 bucks. This is a pocket-sized terminal that we have. We've had it for a while, but again, just throwing it out there in case you guys didn't know. So it's printerless. You do digital receipts. So with this one, yeah, you do have to turn on the de novo back office, which allows you to do those SMS or email receipt deliveries. But we sell it in either an inexpensive Wi-Fi only version, or you can throw a SIM card into a version that we sell another flavor that's 4G and Wi-Fi. So it kind of looks like a cell phone. It's about a 3.5 to 4 inch screen, but it's a full-blown terminal. Okay. We've introduced to EPI within the last year a pin pad, and I know it's called the same model number, but there is a distinction between, let me back up, the QD3 terminal and the QD3 pin pad. So the pin pad is not pockets, not something you walk around with. There is no battery in it, but it's wired so that we have a smaller form factor to connect to the QD4. So it's consumer facing pin pad, basically for your countertop QD4. We can still use it with integrations. Of course, all of our devices are candidates for a type of integration form factor. But if you're looking for something a little more traditional size than the QD5 that you may have been selling, this is your guy. And I like it also because you can actually tap on the glass. With the QD5, very much like QD2, QD4, you got to tap on that back what looks like a paper cover, although we know on the QD5 there's no printer, but you got to reach back there to tap. So this one is much more presentable to a consumer. You can tap on glass, you can insert it on the bottom instead of on the side, which is a little funny for consumers that aren't used to that. We do sell these in black and white, which is kind of interesting because the QD4s and the QD2s, as we move into the new year, are going to be white. And there's not going to be a choice. We didn't do that. The manufacturer did that. It is going to come along with some improvements, which I'll chat about real quick. But so we do have a white pin pad to match the white terminal that's on the way. As far as the P series, these are much faster even units than the QDs, which says a lot. Different manufacturer. Remember, Dejavoo is not a manufacturer, okay? We're a software company. So we bring in which hardware families we decide to work with from various manufacturers. So today we work with three. The Z line is one, the QD and the P. They're all different family, actual different companies, different manufacturers, different factories. And we are bringing in a fourth one in the new year, a company called Bluebird, which is also going to give us a company that's not from China. It's actually a Korean company. It's going to give us some new form factors, like a multi-lane device. In any case, this one's much further down the line than it was a year or two ago in maturity. We're selling about 6 or 7 thousand of these a month, P series into the gateway. We're adding now 11,000 TPNs a month to the gateway. They're much cost effective, especially with the hardware pricing we give to EPI. I've said this before, I'll continue to say it. EPI agents get some of the best hardware pricing on Dejavoo hardware anywhere in the market. And that's because you're our number one. You're our number one in volume, you're our number one in quantity. And I always say it, like, we can't thank you enough. And I'm going to speak on behalf of the company on that. These terminals also have a 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi capability. None of the Dejavoos to this day, as I sit here, can say that other than the P series. However, those white ones on the Cutie family that are coming, They're going to have 5G, and that's a benefit, the upgrade that you're getting on the QD2 and the QD4 when they start showing up in white. NEP terminal can be a mast or NEP terminal can be a pin pad. You can crisscross them through our Wi-Fi pairing option. And a lot of people are okay with that. It's stable, it works, it's fast enough. Others are, struggling with it a little bit depending on the environment. And with that, I'm going to introduce a new device today that you can do a USB connection to your P1 and not have to do Wi-Fi pairing. Just stepping back real quick to the QD3 pin pad, there was someone in the chat that's asking, does the QD3 pin pad support USB connectivity to the terminal? Yes. So it's actually the same type of connection that you do at QD5. We call that UU cable that we connected to the two Ethernet boxes. So basically, the difference between QD3 pin pad and QD5 is nothing but the size. Configuration is the same, capabilities are the same, price is the same. It's just which size do you prefer? Connectivity of wiring and all that's exactly the same. Okay, so P1 and P3, you guys have known about these if you have stepped into the iPods Pays world, which is our gateway. So the P1 is your workhorse. This is your countertop terminal, needs Ethernet, Wi-Fi, needs power, can do Ethernet or Wi-Fi, excuse me. Does have a light battery backup built in. Not going to last all day. You really need a P3 to walk around and do something like that. Very much like the difference between, let's say, a QD2 and a QD4. Although we don't have batteries in the QD4s anymore. For any of you that have tried the QD4s in the past and maybe walked away from them because of the battery issues, the batteries were dying, they were getting killed, the terminal wouldn't boot up. That hasn't been a thing for a couple of years now, so you can comfortably and confidently come back to the QD line and use the QD4 instead of a Z8, for example, for your free terminal program because you're not going to have that battery problem anymore. There is no battery in the QD4 anymore. The P8 has been a new addition probably within the last year for you guys, give or take. My recollection's not so sharp. But this is sort of like a P3. I'm going to take a step back, right? So P3 is battery operated 4G Wi-Fi printer on board, okay? So the P8's in the same family, except as you can see, it's a larger screen. We call it a Gorilla Glass, so it doesn't crack so easily. It is much faster than the P3, which is kind of nice to say because P3s are pretty darn fast. It's a little bit cheaper than the P3 too. Okay, so take that with it. And you also have a laser scanner built into this one. So if you want to do our light inventory feature, especially with the CEDP stuff coming, you got to force merchants to do that. They want to quickly zap the product by zapping its barcode. This little yellow button on the side opens a laser scanner on the front, on the lens, and you can do barcoding. Okay. Um, Let's move forward. The P5, again, one that's been around, just want to say it's still here, not going anywhere. We're just adding in other form factors to the family. So we're just increasing the amount of options in the family, not EOLing or end of lifing any other of the family models. So this is, again, a pocket-sized one. It's about a 5-inch screen, can do 4G or Wi-Fi, 2.4 or 5 gigahertz. You can do all styles of payment types, everything that Dejavoo, iPod Space can do. Again, but no printer, so we're going to do a digital receipt with this one. Again, it can be a standalone terminal, it can be a pin pad. All of these devices also, guys, can be a pin pad connected to your virtual terminal. So you want to wake up a product to do a card present on command through a VT. Any of the P series can do that. This is a new addition. Got a lot of interest in this one at Impact. A lot of people were feeling it and touching it and wanting to sell it. EPI is pretty much ready to go with this one. We know they can encrypt it. So we're good there. That's always the big test is can they encrypt it internally? And then we can start getting it matriculated into your sales channel. So this is a even smaller palm-sized device. It's 4 inches by 4 inches, but it's a full-blown terminal. It's got insert, it's got tap, it's got key entry. It does not have an MSR, Max Swipe Reader. Most people are okay with that these days. So it's a little square device. You can walk around with it. It's got a USB port for charging, USB-C, just like our cell phones today. There is also an optional charging cradle for it. Runs about $25 or $30. So it can sit there on sort of an angle looking up at the consumer. So again, if you want to use it as a smaller pin pad, that's cool. We can do that through the Wi-Fi thing. You can walk around with it standalone just like the others. This thing sells for well under $200 with the EPI pricing. And this, ta-da, is our new wired pin pad. This one should now be, well, actually, hold on. We're working out a couple of kinks internally here on the encryption. But we do support remote encryption for this right now. So the wired encryption thing, we're still working on why it's not injecting in the EPI facility. There is action going on as recent as yesterday and this morning with that. So I hope to have that resolved in the next couple of days. And then we'd be full go on the local injection capability. So I don't want to misspeak, but these are for sale and they have been for sale for almost a year now at Dejavoo. So there's many hundreds of these in the field. This is not a new guinea pig product, but you do not need the Wi-Fi pairing anymore. So it does need its own power still. It comes with this little baby junction box. It's a lot cleaner from the wiring perspective. And we do provide a special USB cable for it, so that eliminates the Wi-Fi pairing. It'll be much more stable for you guys that have been experiencing difficulties with the Wi-Fi to Wi-Fi stuff. So these are available today. We just have to use the RKL for now, if that's okay for everybody. Okay, and this one should now be available as well. We know that EPI can encrypt these. I got a green light on this one too. This one is killer. So this is a full-blown 11-inch tablet that is also a terminal. It's super fast. It's got the same specs as a P8 if you guys have played with P8, so it's lightning. But it's got a built-in camera for laser scanning over here. There's a little button that lights it up. You can tilt it and show the customer, rotate it, as you may want to say. You can actually detach it and walk around with it. You can do Ethernet, Wi-Fi, cellular, tap, insert, swipe, the whole nine yards. And guys, you're going to get this for under $420. We're kind of sort of in a pilot with this one with certain features. Um, and for example, one is the register light. And that one's not just get ready. We hope to have that ready by January. So we're really, really around the corner on that one. I do see a webinar chat on that. So you can use our Dejavoo Pro on it today. You can use DV Pay Lite, which looks like a P1 all by itself, right? You can use that standalone on here. Register Lite, which is an add-on feature that you turn on within the P series. We're gonna have that ready in January. Castro is already supported through and I'm just reading the chat. Castro is already supported by using Dejavoo Pro. Bluetooth printers are supported because there's no printer built in. You can use a Bluetooth printer. I tried inexpensive ones. Expensive ones seems to be working pretty well. To me, Bluetooth is Bluetooth. So as long as you know how to pair it from the Android settings, you're good to go. Okay, guys, what's hardware is coming soon? Something Dejavoo lacks. How about a dual screen device? So the P8 in its form factor, instead of having that laser scanner lens on the front, we're coming out with a P8 dual. This will be sometime in the first quarter. I wish I could be more specific than that, but time does fly. So January, February, March is the time frame for when we will have these ready to sell. It'll be fully touchscreen functional on the front, so the consumer can go through the dual pricing prompt and the rest of the transaction flow, tip, and etc. So this is a new device that's coming in the new year. If you all don't know about the pop-up program, everyone should know about what we're doing for you guys. The purpose of the program is to upgrade your merchants from any non-gateway terminal, and I don't care if it's a Dejavoo or a non-Dejavoo. It could be a Dejavoo Z. It could be an old VX520, a PAX A80. I mean, anything that you said, you know what, before somebody else comes in and gives this merchant, my merchant, the new technology of Dejavoo, how about Dejavoo gives you guys a deep discount on a P series terminal to get them into that new terminal and that new platform? I don't want the terminal back. I'd rather you guys recycle it, put it in don't put it in the landfill, but don't pay for shipping back to me. This is a never-ending program. It's indefinite. We do have some rules about how it works. And reach out to your Dejavoo sales rep. So the purchase of this product would have to come through Dejavoo Direct, but then you can go use it with EPI. I don't do mids. I don't want to do mids. I'm not going to compete with you. So you can bring it back to them. They'll build a file for you to download it. Or again, if you have a direct relationship with us, you get your VAR sheet from EPI and you build your own file. But we're talking deep discounts here. I mean, for example, and you know what you may pay for a P1 today. You may know what you pay for a P3 today. We have a flyer on it. But a P1 you're going to get for anywhere between $149 and $169, for example, to bring your merchant into a P1. And everything proportionally discounts around 60% off of the list price. Um, Thank you, Nicole. Reading just through some chats. Can the P8 have inventory? So, Brian, that's the one I was talking about. The light inventory that we have on the rest of the Ps, which, guys, so you know, adds up to 400 items per store, is not available yet on the P18. That's going to be in January. Um, And then is it ideal for liquor stores? Sure, why not? You can't generate your own barcodes. No, we're only going to be able to use our own. Somebody else was asking questions then. Okay, let's get into the gateway itself. So it does so much, guys, so many features, and over time, if you haven't watched my regular webinars with EPI, go into the agent portal, go into archive, and a number of the pre-recordings going back to the earlier days of iPods Pays are there. So if you're really not that versed on all of the power of iPods Pays, get your feet wet with some of the earlier presentations I've done and work your way up and through, and then let's talk and dig into it more if you need to. It's a full-blown what we call omni-channel solution. That's kind of the key word today, meaning that, within one platform, you have multiple endpoints for which the merchant can process. Card present on physical terminals, web payments, virtual terminals, tap on phone products. So I'm just kind of jumping through some of the bigger features of the platform today and what we've really been finding unique for us over time. I'm going to do some demo a little bit today on that. Um, so we've added, over time, multi-factor authentication to prevent frauds and the safe features and 3DS. We just recently, probably within the last 6 or 8 months, certified it P2PE. So for y'all that are doing PCI surveys, if you don't realize what that means, the PCI survey goes from this humongous list of questions to a very small list of questions. So you should now be able to find iPods pays on your PCI surveys so that that can get shrunk. Um, Jeff, so if a merchant has tags on their items already, you can use those UPCs. Yes. I don't have a way to generate UPCs for you by typing in a number. That's what I meant by that. So yeah, if the merchant has their own barcodes, the barcode reader will read them. So when you go into light inventory and you add an item, you'll be able to affix a barcode affiliated to that item number, and then you just be able to zap it and the item rings up. That's what I meant. I'm going to demonstrate to you something called Blink Search today, which is really cool. We now also have an offline mode available for store and forward. I did want to mention that. Not the biggest and prettiest feature, but it is sort of useful for merchants that go in and out of service a lot. So they want to be able to store a card transaction and then upload it for later. That's now available on the P series also. Again, you can do remote heartbeat with these. Onboard training videos. That's one I forgot to mention last time. So there's a place in the terminal. Let me actually step over real quick to the terminal screen, right? Take a look at this. So here's the P8 on my desk, all right, on the right-hand side of my screen. If I hit that little blue guy on the bottom right corner, did you guys know that there's onboard training videos under the orange button? So you can tell a merchant, oh, you called me, you don't know if I'm gonna do a refund, you needed me to walk you through it. Well, how about you press this little blue guy and you press that orange button, and then you just watch a video and the terminal's gonna show you how to do it. So this is on board on all the devices, including tap on phone. I forgot that last time. I think it impacted. I wanted to make sure I brought that up. But that's a really big one for us. Again, bilingual terminals without reloading the machine, you actually can go in and change the um, language right on board. You don't have to reload the programming or anything like that. Um, so Israel, to answer your question, the question come up, some merchants benefit from 3DS, but the challenge is that most of the 3DS providers charge big money to have the service. This is true. We do charge a little bit extra. It's a nominal fee. We charge $4.95 a month, $4.95 a month for their Cloud Pause, plus 10 cents a transaction. It's a very modest amount that we charge for the 3DS. It should still leave you plenty of room for benefiting from the benefits of financial on that. Okay, moving on a little bit. We've added a couple of new really cool features. How about well, this one's not old, the first one, but again, for y'all that didn't know it, your merchant calls you up. I batched out, I forgot to add my tips. And you all roll your eyes. Oh man, I gotta call I gotta call customer service. They gotta go get all the card numbers, which could take some time. Maybe there's an addendum that has to be signed. Now we've got to compromise the card numbers to a human and then rekey in new sales. iPods Pays eliminates all of that. Sling lets you do that. So you have a feature now in the transaction screen where the merchant, without assistance, can find the transaction that they batched out and press a button and do an additional tip authorization all by themselves. It eliminates all the customer service and the concerns of security of the card numbers and the headaches that you guys deal with. So that's a big, big one. A new one that we added probably within the last year, very unique. We don't know anybody else that's done this yet. or copycatted us yet. Tip adjust by store. So when you think about a merchant, and again, settlement by store falls in the same category. You got a merchant that does tip adjust, and they have multiple devices at their restaurant or establishment. And they have to remember, number one, which transaction ran from which terminal, because they got to go back to that exact terminal to edit all the tips. And then they got to run around and do that at all the terminals. And then they got to run around and batch all the terminals. That's now been eliminated. So from one single terminal, I can adjust all my tips from all my terminals and then settle all my terminals. I can also go in the back office and just do the same thing from a computer screen, and I don't have to figure out which device it came from. Really cool feature. The online dashboarding has been improved with more slicing and dicing of data, splitting up payments. Split payments. So we now support, we've had it for a while, but I think one of the additions was multiple tender types. So you can split a transaction, a check, up to 7 times. It does not have to be even amounts, and it does not have to be the same type of tender. I'll leave it at that. Hopefully, everyone understands what that means just to save some time. Let me move forward. So, fee programs, kind of don't want to waste time on this, but if y'all didn't use Dejavoo for dual pricing or surcharging or cash discount or whatnot, we are the champion. We are the best configuration options for any kinds of those programs. Try us out. The virtual terminal has got all the 9 yards that you need for sending payment links via text, via email, recurring billing, whether it's for cards or ACH payments. We have a card vault. I recently learned that there's a Fiserv gateway, owned gateway called Transax, that's about to get sunsetted. And I had a partner that said, we want to bring over that customer to the iPOS pays and we want to move their vault. So Fiserv made me sign a DocuSign, like an NDA or whatnot, whatever it was. But as I learned, they're going to charge that ISO for the exportation of data. I don't do that, and I don't charge for importation of data either. We have a secure transport for it. So if any of your merchants are in that boat, come on board. It doesn't matter what gateway they come from. I'm not going to charge for importing into our vault. You can add cards on file in our vault manually, of course. They also go on file automatically when you do a digital receipt transaction, whether any from any endpoint, tap on phone, physical terminal, virtual terminal, website. We're going to add the card on file into the vault automatically, associated to your email or SMS number, cell phone number. We added WooCommerce integration earlier in the year for the hosted payment page websites. We've got some great documentation on it, walkthrough videos, and integration APIs for it. Most of what we do today, like cash discount or ACH and things like that, are now blended into the WooCommerce integration as well. We've added a new GHPP custom page design tool. I'm going to show you that today. Let's move on. I have a quick question. Are you able to import recurring billing plans from other gateways? No. Right now, we cannot do that. We just can import the card data, and then those records got to get set up. That's something we can look into maybe in the new year. Okay. In the e-commerce world, when making a payment online, we've added in Apple Pay and Google Pay through the time of the maturity of the platform. And I just wanted to show you some interesting statistics about that. So before our web page HPPs and GHPPs were actually taking Google Pay or Apple Pay, only 56% of the links sent to make payment were actually paid by consumers. They were otherwise ignored. When we added Google Pay, it went all the way up to 63%. And then when we added Apple Pay, it jumped to 74. As of earlier this year, only 80% of our merchants had these capabilities in their websites. And that was based on what host they were on for the most part, like if they were a Vantiv host and a WorldPay merchant or whatever. So it's increasing even more. Very interesting statistic I wanted to share with you guys. If you did not also know, available for iPhones and Android phones, I have a tap on phone product called iPOS Go. So this is actually an app for a phone. It's in the app stores. It's available on TSYS for both platforms. Omaha for Apples. We're now doing a North certification for Apples, and we're finishing up an Android for Omaha. I know I just crisscrossed a bunch there, but if you can kind of follow me on that and the Fiservs that we're working on. But basically, an app for your phone that allows you to do a card present transaction with no additional hardware. You're not juggling a Bluetooth device in your other hand and worrying about pairing it and the wonkiness that comes along with that. This is with the cell phone and nothing but the phone. You can have the hardest cover. I've played with it on my phone, like OtterBoxes and the hard plastic ones that really protect. You can tap through that. So you can tap cards, you can tap Apple Watches and Google Watches and other phones, and if anything that's NFC capable. and it's been available for some time. Apple is popular by more than 3 to 1, and that's why we're doing these Omahas first and the Norths first on the Apples, and then kind of stepping back to the Androids. But yeah, if you want to play with it, we have a sandbox version of it for Android phones. Unfortunately, Apple only lets you do live mids. But if you want to go out and get a burner phone, I don't know what else to call it, but you get an Android phone, inexpensive, use it on Wi-Fi, don't hook up a cell service. We can give you the tap on phone iPods Go. Um, for you to play with on your phones in the sandbox. You guys can always have sandbox environment, by the way. EPI and the Dejavoo support department over at EPI, which does an amazing job, can set you up as a merchant in the sandbox environment. I do not I prefer not. Merchants are in the sandbox. They'll get confused fast. They'll start running transactions and think they're live. They'll look at features they think are really live, and then they go into production and it's not there. So I don't want any of that to happen. We really want to keep merchants out of the sandbox, okay? Um, so alternative payments is really on the rise. In some cases, it's the type of owner or it's the geographic location of the business. And so we're adding in a lot of new providers that are going to give us PayPal buy now, pay later, Venmo, crypto capabilities. So these are some of the partners we're working with. So Pocket is online now. They can give us PayPal buy now, pay later, and Venmo. We have Velocity Transactions, which is a crypto provider that's an app that lives in the store. We have over 50 apps in our store now. We're climbing to 70 within the next couple of months. We have another one called BeadPay that's going to go live very, very soon that can give us crypto. He's going to give us, I believe, Klarna and also Zelle. So those are coming live any day now, as far as I was informed recently. Some of these are blended into our transaction flow. Some of them are an app that you got to step out of our app and go into the App Store and launch, and that's okay. But these are all programmable on all the P series. It has to be a gateway powered terminal. I will say that. And a lot of them are going to be not just at the card present endpoint. It can be website payment. It can be when you send a link to pay, like you see with ACH. This can just be another option. Wanted to talk real quick about our integrations. We've been very, very busy in the ISV department. I don't know what's going on out there, but within the last 4 months, and I'm not even exaggerating, we're picking up one new ISV every single day that wants to integrate with Dejavoo through one way or another. And we've already done over 500, well over 500 before this flood started. But it's been crazy amazing. And so I think we have some of the best integration options in the industry that are gateway powered, that a lot of our other competitors don't have gateway powered integration capabilities. So we want to talk to them. We want to show them what we've got. We're getting into some newer technology soon, like unattended. So I now have vendor devices, outdoor rated devices that can attach to vending machines. We're basically bringing out a new technology that supports the universal protocols like MDB and DEX and Pulse that talk to internal vending, but we're going to gateway power it, which isn't really out there today. We also sell a kiosk hardware where the ISV think about what McDonald's does and Taco Bell does. We've got something for that too. And it's way less expensive than, for example, what the Clover device was. We're about half the price. There's a question on the screen. Is there a revenue for us when merchants use the APM, or is it just convenience we offer for merchant retention? What is APM? Please type that. I'll follow up. This is the outdoor device. So this can be attached. You'll see mounting screws on the back and whatnot. So it's a new super fast device. Just think about some of the channels that can do this. There's a lot of self-serve kiosks coming in all sorts of markets like CBDs and EV charging and some of the micro markets. Even if they're still out there, the little kiddie rides outside the grocery store, right? Oh, alternative payment methods. Is there revenue for that? Yes, not through your regular mid. So there's a different price model there, and it's not through Dejavoo. So as we introduce you to those third-party customers, the alternative payments, they'll show you what your buy rates are on that and what the residual, if you will, is on those kinds of things. Thank you for that. So guys, if you've never been in the unattended world, but you're interested in maybe getting into that, we have a separate business development VP for this. This is very real. This is very now, and we want to talk to you guys. We want to present to you what it is, and have you guys start bringing us some possible opportunities. All right, I'm going to spend the next few minutes just doing a couple of quick demos. So here first, I wanted to show you the GHPP design tool, right? So if you go, let me log in as a merchant. Okay, 1 second. So if I go to, let's say here, right, and I send you a link to pay. So we're going to use this and just throw in a bill. Okay. And I send a link over here. This one's got a fee being added and some tax. You can see how there's removable options. This is all at discretion of ISO. So let's just send a link to pay from here. So if you ever seen what our links to pay look like, they're very blank, they're very generic, they're very white, black and white, and boxy. This is kind of what it'll look like today, and the colors and a lot of the font are customizable. So I'm going to show you what that tool looks like and how easy it is to do, but this is kind of what you'll get today, much prettier. Okay. You can see the terms on an ACH show up when I pick banks. So this is why is this showing a dual price? Because you're using ACH. So I don't know if you guys know this. There is an ACH provider currently certified in the system called Paya, aka Nuvei. Some people are not big fans of them, but there's a new one, a very big one that's in the works called Vericheck, and we should have that ready early in the first quarter. We are very far down the line with that one. So I just wanted to mention that. So if merchant steps over to their settings, okay, and they scroll down to the bottom, they're going to see customized checkout page and payment links. So this is what we call the GHPP design tool. I already set up a template. I'm just going to go in and show you it so I can edit it. So here's what it looks like, right? So if you kind of go in side by side, let's bring this over to the right. Yeah, okay, there we go. Right. So if you see the blue is where the blue is here, the green is the pay button. The purple comes in where I forgot the purple was. I think that's at the end. There might be a oh, no, I'm sorry. Purple is a disclaimer box. So when you go into your CloudPOS, you set up a disclaimer that might show up here. Usually it lives down here. That's the color of the disclaimer box. You can change what the Pay Now button says. That's the control right here. You can change the font style. Okay, you have a number of fonts to change. You can upload a logo, which shows up over here. We'll give you the right sizing for that so that it's not doesn't look all crunched. You can go into some advanced options where you can turn on additional custom tags and make them optional or mandatory and name them what you want. Tags are like prompts. And then after the payment, when the pop-up shows up, I can change what thank you for shopping says. So it's a little bit more customization, makes it a little bit cooler without going out and paying a web developer to do all this for you. So this is free of charge built into the platform now. I wanted to next show you the iPod Safe. Let me step back to the ISO login for that. All right, so here you'll see iPause safe, risk rules, or templates. So inside risk rules, I just want to show you at the top how you can control this, right? So you can search by a merchant and control merchant, meaning all their TPNs, no matter what kind they are, or a particular store or a particular device. So you can step out or step in, macro it. And then you'll see down the right-hand side a number of different rules. We actually have a guide for this that explains them within a paragraph or so. We can send a PDF to you. There's also pop-ups that kind of give you a briefing as well. Okay. And when you turn them on or off, then there's different rules that you got to control. So some of the popular ones, blocking blind refunds, which are going to stop bad actors, turning on and off international cards, or restricting international card refunds more specifically, or turning on and off the card validation. So, okay, if we're doing a e-commerce transaction and ABS doesn't work, you want to stop that transaction from going through, you can control that. Processors usually don't. You can get a downgrade because your ABS didn't work, but you're going to get an approval. And if that's a bad guy, well, then we're in a lot of trouble. So this stops a lot of that. Okay. You can apply one as a template. So you can basically save it as a template and apply a templates to anything you want, a home merchant, a store, your whole database, or just a TPN specifically. So that's safe. If you think about transactions, right, you want to go over here and you have to pull up your filter. And I'm sure you guys have experienced this in production where you're using some of these filters to zero in on a transaction, but we're spinning down here for a while, right? It takes some time to fetch that data. We have something now called Blink. Okay, you're going to see a little magnifier glass with a lightning bolt through it. It's going to open up a new tab. Anybody can use this at the ISO level or at the merchant level. And literally, it allows you to use some filters, okay? and maybe check boxes on the side to say, okay, well, I only want it to be a sale and I'm only looking for whatever. And when you click search, it literally comes up in a blink of an eye. I'm not joking. And that's why we call it blink. And then from there, once it fetches the transactions you're looking for, you can view it from here. It gives you a quick pop-up with some detail about the transaction, or it'll jump you right over to the transaction screen in a new tab so you don't lose your place, right? And then you'll be able to see what you normally were looking for, but it took a lot faster to get there. Um, Question on the screen was, is Safe included in the monthly costs or is this an add-on? No, it is included in monthly costs. It is not an add-on. We do not charge extra for this. Another person came on the screen and asked about how does the QuickBooks work? Guys, if you go to our YouTube channel, okay, it's YouTube with a forward slash and then an at symbol, Dejavoo 2006. You're going to see this screen come up. So I just want to save some time on it. And in my previous demos for Dejavoo, again, in your agent portal archive, I've done actually full demos on how to enable it, how it works. But if you type in QuickBooks, sorry, you're going to get two very quick videos here. One's 3 minutes long, one's 4 minutes long. Watch these two videos. It's going to completely answer your questions on how to enable it and what it does. And we're happy to do follow-up calls with you after that. And we do have a way that you can even play with this in the sandbox. I have steps on how to use Intuit's sandbox website and create a sandbox merchant, and you can completely play with it yourself as well. Batch report options. So now, if you ever had a Z terminal or a QD terminal, you were able to, after a download, yeah, it had to be after a download, but you were able to customize the format or the sort method of a batch report. Hey, the merchant doesn't want to sort it by transaction number. They want to sort it by card type. They want to sort it by payment type. P Series actually never had that. So we now have that. You can do that from the terminal screen, and you can actually do it from the TPN. So if I go back here, let's just say I pull up my terminal right here, edit parameters, and you go to settlement. If you've got it on POS initiated, where it's actually going to print, then look, guys, you got these new features down below, listing by card type, transaction type, category. That's a new add-on. And it's something we should have had in the first place, but we caught up and did that. Let me show you a biggie called Command and Control Center. All right, so I'm going to show you my terminal screen on the right. This is more of a help desk thing, but I just want to show you the muscle of the technology behind this system, okay? So we have this new thing called Control Center for the ISO partners. I'm going to pull up my terminal, but it doesn't have to just be a terminal. It can be all of my merchants' terminals. It can be a store. It can be my entire database. Again, that same kind of level, macro, micro. So here's my device that's over here on the right. And now we have some new capabilities. One of the things that's always necessary is the time and date correct on the terminal? We got to tell the merchant, slide your fingers, go into the Android settings, take a look, tell us what it says. Not anymore. I can actually tell the terminal, give me the date and time. I'm going to ask you remotely without a human interacting at all. And it just told me what the date and time of this device is over here. Okay. Now, if it's wrong, we have a new way to set the date and time. And it'll let me choose a time zone and it'll send a command over here. And boom, again, customer service in the snap of a finger with no human interaction and teeth pulling. This is also getting automated. This part specifically about setting the date and time. So our next move in the new year is to when the devices come in to run a transaction, if the date and time is wrong, the gateway is going to say, you got to fix it yourself. And it does. And nobody has to do anything. It's completely behind the curtains and automatic. What else can I do? I can tell the terminal to reboot remotely. I can send it an automatic parameter update. So I'm making a change on the file and the merchant says, I can't wait for this thing to update overnight like it does. It does do that. I need it now. We can send a parameter update now. And I'm going to show you actually how that works. We can send a new app update to the terminal, which we call new builds. If you're familiar with our vernacular, a build is a new version of the app. We can also send messages. How about, you're closed for the day or you're sick in bed and your agent partner is the one that's going to take calls today. Imagine needing to tell all your merchants that in an instant because something has happened. Well, how about being able to send a message to the screen, whatever you want, and that you have to wait for a merchant to acknowledge that they saw it, right? I can turn this on or off. Check it out. So we now have this immediate messaging capability to our merchants through the device. We also can send images to the device, like you want to send a picture of a new advertisement, Happy Holidays and Statement Week. You introducing a new partner VAR for whatever, cash advances or loyalty or something, and you want to send a promotion to your merchant screen so they can see it. That's what image upload is for. Now, let me show you also the immediate parameter update. I'm going to go into my file I'm going to just do something trivial so I don't break nothing right now. I'm going to turn off the tip suggestions on paper. Watch what happens when I hit save. Terminal's about to do it automatically within 10 seconds. So no more walking through of pressing the star and then pressing the password and then pressing upgrade and then download parameter and all that. It just did it all by itself. Again, no human interaction and much faster support and service from your team. Excuse me. Multi-merchant is now there. Guys, I don't know if you knew that too. We did this earlier in the year. We never had multi-merchant in the P series. We now can do up to 10 merchants in the terminal, and they can be on different hosts. So, you got one on T-System, one on North, and etc. That's now available. It's been there for quite some time. I'm kind of winding down. We do have a short few minutes left. So if anybody had some questions, I don't know if you can do open up mics or just type in chats, but that covers a lot of what I wanted to do today, and I talked fast enough that I got through it. So thank you.
Thank you, Chris. We did get a lot of great questions in QA. Thank you so much for addressing those.
Yeah.
We do have one in chat from Sean. It says, "Do we need to request the control center? They don't
Ah,
see it within their portal yet."
yes. Thank you, Shan. Great question. Sorry I missed that. The answer is yes. Just go to your RM. It was initially in pilot, so we didn't want to throw it to everybody. There's a few let's just say check boxes to make sure that the device is ready for it, aka build number, version or model of device. So it's not available for every single device yet, but most of the staple ones, and it will eventually. That's why you didn't see it as a blanket turn on. But yes, reach out to us. We can turn it on. Thanks for that. Recording, Dylan. Hi. Yes, recording of the conversation and the entire presentation should be in the EPI agent portal archive as soon as they've uploaded.
Yeah, absolutely, Dylan. We'll post that onto Bankcard Forum and on our digital channel, and you can always reach out to marketing, and I can get you a copy as well.
Timothy, same question. Yes, reach out to us to get access to Control Center on your system. Also, for those of you that do have direct access, I will mention one other feature. This might be very beneficial to some of the smaller offices that do have direct access with us, like Shannon Timothy. We now have a merchant invoicing feature. So the design of the system is for you guys to use my system to recoup the monthly fees from the merchant. So the way it works is you would have to have a live MID for your office. You would plug that into the system. For each and every merchant, you can turn the feature on or off. You can name your price for each and every service to your merchant. And my system will take a credit card from the merchant or ACH info from the merchant and do all the billing on your behalf and fund your MID. So we're still going to bill you direct like we do, but we're going to help you get the funds right into your MID by using that feature. So if you need help on getting that enabled and whatnot, reach out to us as well. Um, I see a hand up from Israel. I don't know if that's old or new.
That's new. Izzy, I can unmute your line.
Go ahead.
Okay. Hey, thanks for the presentation. It's awesome.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hey, quick question on the new level two and threes that are coming in. Is
Yep.
there any way to get like a tutorial on how to actually implement that on a day-to-day
Uh,
basis?
Good
Because
question.
because one of
Yes.
the challenges that I see is that, and I mentioned that on a level two, three call yesterday, is that merchants will have multiple invoices and they'll
Mhm.
just, you'll have an invoice for 30 grand worth of, like six invoices they'll just charge in one amount.
Right.
And there are some things that are taxable, some things that are not, and that kind of messes with qualifying for that. But is there a way to just give us a tutorial on, hey, this is how you start implementing it and
Yeah. So
real way that we can learn?
yeah, absolutely. So if you look at my left-hand side of my screen there, I typed in level two in my YouTube channel. There are a couple of videos that show you how to enable it, how it works. But this is on the basic. This was pre-CEDP. So I would have to say this is basic. If you want to get into the multiple, that's really going to be then the light inventory, which we do have some videos on that. I think they call it register light. I'm going to type in the word light and see if I fetch it. Yes. So there's two here for register light. That's going to get you to that second level for multiple items. And level three is going to be with an ISV involved. And, then our dev support would take over and help you with that.
Okay. So I mean, is there a way to use the iPOS gateway? Um,
Yeah,
And
basically in
then
a nutshell,
basically
it's
kind of
here.
enter all those items in and then
Right.
send that over to the terminal for the
Yes.
cardholder to pay, or send that as an invoice or key it in, capture payment now. And
Right. I can show you that right now, as a matter of fact. So first of all, the basic is turned on in the TPN under value add. We go down here and we turn on the L2, L3 autofilling. This is basic. Okay, if you want to get to step two, we have merchant. They have to have light inventory enabled, and then that's here. Okay, so this is where they'll pick a store. And as I said, you can do 400 items per store. I've got three set up on this one, as you can see. Okay, and if you go and look at my terminal over here, and I click on that, you're going to see the three items come up. So this is where I would ring them up. And the tutorial has this, and we have direct support, human support for you on this. We can, take you through it for the sake of time here, but this adds it to the transaction flow. Alternatively, on the virtual terminal, as you asked, if you do the itemized billing, you can send a link to pay with the items. So if I just pick a person, go next, there, yeah, why not this guy? Sure.
you're limited to only 400 items.
Yes. Otherwise, you have to get into my POS system where I can get into the many thousands.
Okay.
Shan, you asked about how to get updates on new build numbers. If you have your own login to our system, you should be getting email notifications, release notes at all times. If you're not, reach out to us. We'll make sure you're not been blocked or sometimes your email system is bouncing it. We can check into those things and make sure that you're going to get those. But if you're an iPass Pays user, we're trying to send them. Jonathan asked, are there any additional fees for the funding of the merchant SaaS fees on our mid besides interchange? No, we're not going to charge you extra to use the merchant invoicing feature. Use it at your disposal. Um, so yes, you can set it up once you have access to the module. Another question came up when using the control center for param update. Do you have to batch first? No, because never there's anything in the terminal. The only time it's going to yell at you about maybe batching first is if you're changing something like fee-based configuration. Hey, I want to change it from dual price to surcharge, or I want to go from, IPP to something with fee-based. Then it's going to yell at you to close the batch from the gateway, but never from the terminal. These are gateway-based terminals or gateway power terminals, meaning there's nothing ever in them. If you have a TSYS merchant and they run over the machine in the middle of the day and it's broke, at least now on a gateway, you don't have to rekey sales, right? That's the benefit of having a gateway power terminal like the P series. Um, Let me also show you really quick. I see a question on there, but I know I mentioned something and I forgot to do a transaction to show you the social media like, share, review stuff, which promotes flow to a Google reviews page, a Yelp page. Let me throw you through a transaction and you'll see what happens at the end here. I'm just going to say no receipt for now. This right here is customizable, and this can show up on a printed receipt, a pin pad facing consumer, or the main screen if nothing is attached. So the text at the top is customizable. Where the QR code is pointing to is customizable. That's what I wanted to show you on that one real quick. There's another question on screen. I have merchants using P1s that need ability to remove tax from some items in the cart, but not all. Tax from some items. Ooh, I don't know if we have that one. Let me see. Let's just add an item. Go here. Don't think so. That gets pretty deep into maybe needing the POS DejaPay Pro instead. I don't think we've developed that yet. Let's take that one offline, Dylan. Reach out to us. Let's see how big the business case is for that, or how much it makes sense to really do the dev. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure I can do that within my POS already. Got a couple more minutes, guys. Anybody else?
Chris, thank you for handling all these questions as they come in. I
I love it.
appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Um, Guys, have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to all of you out there. You and your family stay safe, stay warm. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Thank you all. Have a great day, everyone. And I'll be reaching out to you all for next week. We have one more Clover webinar rounding out our webinar Wednesdays, and then one last Exit Touch roundtable discussion. But we really appreciate your time, Chris. Thank you so much as always. And have a great day, everyone.